That's where we've had our trouble. As we loft this one up, it's Chuba Hubbard. Just keep getting flagged on it as they will find their touchdown right thereafter. Gonna flood the right side. Got our tight end open. It's likely, and he is into the end zone. Instead, it's gonna be Young trying to find the corner, and he has the speed. We have widened our lead. Pressure, but we could swing it out for Chuba, and he can walk in. We're gonna send a little bit of some heat on it. They swing it out, and it's gonna be a touchdown for Cooper Kupp. Cover it well. Coming across the middle, it's thrown behind and picked off by King. Now rolling. Jordan does not get out there. Instead, it's a first down touchdown to Dawson Knox. Pace might help us out as it's out for Hayden Hurst. Placed well. He's running away with it. 10-5 by the diving defender. Get these pop plays as we do find Likely, who fumbles. He took a shot. Well, there goes the hydraulic press offense. As we go a little bit of some play action to the outside. It's not Knox. Just need to get someone open to the outside. Got a couple blocks instead, and Young will scramble in. Development boost. Well over as he does get the sack there. They double team him, but he gets out there, and they do not complete the pass. But they are able to make it a game, and it was very much a good one. And coming off that high-scoring game, 42-33 over the Rams, where we put up 463 yards and nearly gave up 400 ourselves. We are facing a very important game for the first half of our season. Right now, in the NFC South, we have the lead. Barely. As the Saints are also 3-2, and today they are going to be our opponent. And if staking claim for top of our division isn't enough, we have an X-Factor breakout opportunity for our running back in Chuba Hubbard. He's been fantastic throughout this series. Today, he's going to have 4 total touchdowns or have a combined 200 rushing/receiving yards. We know he could rack up these yards. But in an important game, do we focus too much on him? We'll just have to play the hot hand as the win is arguably more important. And as for our opponent today, they have a rookie quarterback in Aaron Schmidt, a 75. Now, he's not much of a mobile guy, 70 speed. Throw power, though, not too bad, 92. And his best accuracy is deep. So we've got to make sure that our defense, our DBs, are here to play today. We've had a couple bad games for the defensive backs. We've given up a lot of passing yards. Need to limit that. As for their running back, they do have Tyler Algier coming over from the Falcons. He's their primary guy at 84, though they do still have Alvin Kamara at 81 and Devin Singletary at 80. So no matter who they have out at running back, they could be a threat today. For their receivers, obviously there's Chris Olave, and we have Newsome, who we really need to make sure is matching up 1v1 there. Then they do have a second-year receiver in Jamie Cruz, who's a 79, and Dontavion Wicks, a 77. Then Devin Duvernay, a 76, and rounding out with A.T. Perry, a 71. So they have a pretty solid receiving group. Tight end is going to be Foster Moreau, a 74. I'm not going to harp anything with these low overall tight ends because we did give up a touchdown to a 30 overall tight end last week. As for their trenches, they have a second-year tackle in Dorsey, who is a 77. Their right guard is going to be Nick Salderveri, a 71. Eric McCoy down at an 84. I feel like he's seen a little bit of some regression, perhaps. As for their right guard, not very highly rated. It's a 6th-year player in Throckmorton, a 69 overall. And then right tackle, their best offensive lineman, Ryan Ramczyk. So for the most part, it's not a very strong offensive line. Defensive line, Carl Granderson, an 80. Right side, they have Isaiah Foskey, a 76. And down the middle, Brian Bursey, an 80, as well as Milton Williams, a 79. They also have Kalen Saunders, who might be able to slot in, play a little bit at either of the defensive lineman spots. As for their edge, they do have Connor Wallner, a rookie, 69 overall. And on the opposite side, Pete Warner, more of an inside backer at 81. Speaking of inside backer, they do have Tim Stackhouse, another rookie, 74. They had a pretty decent draft class. And for corner, Well, first off, Marshawn Lattimore, really good. Paulson Adebo, love the dude, 84 overall. Then they have a second-year guy in Pat Garnes, a 77, and then Alontae Taylor, 75. So again, a pretty solid cornerback group with safety Tyrann Mathieu, an 86. Not as fast, but still very solid. And then at strong, Jimmy Ward, an 80. So their defense has definitely seen some regression in spots, some progression in spots. They're not a dominant team, but they definitely are a solid team that if we continue to give up bad passing to a pretty good receiving group, we're really going to need our offense to dominate their defense to keep up very much with what we saw with the Rams. But with that all being said, it's time to kick off the battle for top of the NFC South. Ford here to boot us off as this divisional match is underway. And it's going to be defense out first as Duvernay takes the kneel in the end zone. They'll start back at the 25 as their rookie quarterback leads them out. He's had himself a decent start to the year, but we want to make sure we get some pass rush on him, see how well he handles that, and make sure he can't rely too much on the running game as Algier just picks up one to get us going. To this point in this season, we've actually done really well in stopping the run. And with that, they're going to go straight back to a receiving form as it's through the hands of their target. It's a new guy for him here wearing 13. No longer do they have Michael Thomas. It's a 3rd and 9. At which they will go to the left or right-hand side. I know my direction. It's a slightly inaccurate pass, and it will be a 3 and out for our defense. And with that, it's time for our offense to head out. They've been on fire the last few weeks, and hopefully we continue to see that. Chuba Hubbard has his breakout opportunity, and that's where we're going to start. Getting the halfback screen pass out to him as he continues to push forward. We'll pick up 8. Now, on top of obviously us wanting him to have a big game, we did get help back at the running back spot as Barry has made his return from injury. Might see him sub in occasionally for Hubbard, but we need to keep him out on the field as he picks up another 8. Then, of course, as we talked about, out with the rookie guard due to injury, so Max Mitchell stepping in over at left guard. Still a very similar overall, so it shouldn't be really much of any step down for us, as Young just got to get rid of it. He takes a pop for sure, but we limit the damage. Now, against this Saints defensive line, they don't really have a dominant guy, so I sure hope our offensive line has come ready to play, as it's just a gain of 2, making it slightly more manageable for 3rd. So if we're anything like last week, we're able to hit really on all different situations, deep, medium, short. Gonna need at least a medium play here, as we do have likely, though, they fall off and we just have to throw it away. Sitting at the 43, can we send out the field goal unit? It'll end up being a 60-yarder, but Ford feels confident. He's got a leg on him. He's hit a 60 last year. Can he get one this year? Yeah, he can. Probably would have been good from about 63 to 65. Now, it's not as big of a start as we've seen the past couple games for our offense, but we still take a lead, and in the divisional games, that's at least what you got to find. As they go down the middle, ball pops out, though I think Algier maybe got back on it. But either way, a great stop there from the D-line and the linebackers teaming in on it. Brings up a 2nd and 11. Which they got trips to the right-hand side, spreading everything to the outside to get it to Algier, who's not going to get by Gardner Johnson. Though that does lead to a pretty good segue. Johnson back at free safety. Sidney Brown getting the start again. He got subbed out last week. If we need to make that change again this week, we can, but around the edge is Oweh. Though they're going to split that sack between him and Grover Stewart. Either way, it's getting the Saints off the field. So in a way, it's almost been a flip start here for us. The offense not as effective as the defense. 2 straight stops. The offense comes back out as a play action. Gotta get going. No. Beavers with a half a sack. That's a full sack for him. Can only imagine they were thinking we were going to go with the halfback screen there. so they sent the heavy blitz. Ends up still working out for him as we then go back to the halfback screen. Chuba Hubbard with room to the outside, not going to outrun Matthew. A good angle on him, but it's a first down to the 31. But it does seem like the Saints are going to be bringing pressure today. Going to buy into a little bit of what we like to do anyway with the quick pass game. As long as our guys can get open. Coming across, we have Hayden Hurst with the catch. Not much after, but down to the 7. You know, whenever we could get Young on the move, his accuracy just seems to improve. As we keep with the same look, Hubbard down the middle. A little bit of some power to his game, despite him primarily being an elusive guy. Gets us down to the 4. And from there, we're going to try a little something new here. Spread them wide. They're lined up with only one to the outside. See if we could get, actually, they cover up pretty well. Rolling out, we had our guy in. I believe that was Mingo sitting in the end zone. Just didn't see him in time. It's another sack. And considering this is one of the weaker defensive lines we've gone against in recent games, they're actually seeing more success than pretty much anyone else. We stay spread empty here. 3rd and goal back at the 14. They cover the outside. Shenault gets the step and the catch right next to that white paint. Couldn't be much closer, but he brings it in. Laviska Shenault Jr. So while the Saints defense at least made it difficult, we do find ourselves still with a 2-score lead as their offense heads out. They've yet to really move the ball much at all, and that is staying true. Just another short gain for Allgeier. And he's coming off a game in which he saw a little bit more success, a little over 3 yards per carry. Has not found that today, though they do find Foster Moreau, and he's sprinting down inside the 30, brought down at the 25. They split the safeties as they finally find a good play. And after such a slow start, that was probably a very necessary play for them. Provide a little bit of life to their offense. We then bring the blitz as Stockton hits home. Getting in the face of the rookie. Again, he does not have much mobility. Well, that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. It's been all our Panthers so far, but getting into scoring range are the Saints. But on top of that, we've already seen the most amount of pass rush than we've had at all this season in this game. Hopefully we see that continue throughout as they get it back out to Foster Moreau. Will pick up a short gain, making it slightly more manageable. Though considering their quarterback's accuracy is actually better with the medium and deep, probably a bit more fitting for him here with the 3rd and 9, but Stockton has beautiful coverage, knocks it away, and shoves down the receiver at the same time. These linebackers truly are set for the future. 4th and 9, they bring out their kicker to try to get them on the board, and it is right down the middle. So Verity will make it a 1-score game as we head back out on offense, looking to grow the lead once again. We start with Chuba Hubbard, who's trying to cut back. We'll say they are flying around defensively. It's a loss of 1. Beavers, I want to say, is that rookie linebacker of theirs already with a sack and a tackle for loss in this one, so he's been quite effective. As we roll out, we have our guy keep him in bounds, and while the throw definitely kept him in bounds, not as good of an adjustment there from Thomas. So that'll leave us with a 3rd and 11 back at our own 25. We come out with 3 to the right-hand side, Mingo lone to the left. We could get Hurst down the middle, though they cover that one pretty well. Young gonna look to scramble, try to get a juke, and does not get by Howden. We'll bring up a 4th and 2. Probably should punt from here to be safe. So after the Saints finally get some points on the board, their defense finally gets their first stop, giving them a really good opportunity here. Driving on the play, knocked away is Newsome. Now, we did talk earlier on about having him man up most of the time on Olave. We'll see that sometimes, but Olave will move around. Well, so St. Juste will get to face him a little bit as there's Sidney Brown missing the man versus man on Moreau. He's been rather streaky this year. He's putting together some good games and then having some bad games. We'll see how much leniency we give him as they miss Olave on the corner route. Should have been a big one. That'll just come with time, I imagine, at least with Schmidt. Get to know his receivers a little bit more. Still pretty early on in this season. As they'll go back to the throw to the outside, finding Kamara, who will pick up a couple, but not much more. And once again, our defense forces a favorable third down, 3rd and 8 at the 37. They got trips to the right-hand side, though it's Moreau open, but the throw just a little bit too far off. Not too bad coverage from Sidney Brown either. Our defense responds well to our offense's first time not scoring, gets the stop, and our offense can head back out still with a touchdown lead. As we need some blocks to get to the second level, we pick up 4. However, Hayden Hurst shaken up on the play. The good news is it doesn't appear to be as significant. He heads to the sideline, but still he's a key player for us. Gonna suck not having him out there, as we do go to Likely, who gets clocked when he tried to catch it. Good job there from Ward. But with that, we're gonna get Hayden Hurst back out there. Gonna try to fight through a little bit of some pain as we have another 3rd down here. 3rd and 6, hard count, no one jumps. Need to find someone open as we roll out. Have our guy sitting across the middle, but Young missed that one by a mile. So it's definitely been one of the slower starts for our offense this year, as we do end up having to punt on back-to-back drives. Saints, they're buying all the time that they need, as they do find Olave with a big catch up to the 36. Up to that point, able to hold Olave in check with a couple missed passes as well. Gives them a 1st down as they come out with 2 spread either side. Getting everyone to the outside, they check down for Algier. He will hold on to it for a gain of 5. Now we do need to make sure we keep getting pressure in here on Schmidt. He's been rattled at a few times. Again, doesn't have that mobility to escape the pass rush. As they go with Algier down the middle, he will pick up another 2, as now Britton Hartwell, a little bit shaken up. He's gonna hit the floor after the play and eventually work his way to the sideline. Leaves the Saints with a 3rd and 3, which they go back to the running game. It opens up for Algier the first time today. He picks up a chunk. And another injury, this time to Ezeki. Probably butchered that pronunciation, but we do get Hartwell right back out there. Again, trying to fight through some more pain is this team as they go with the weak side stretch. Picks up a gain of 6. So the Saints shaking things up a little bit on this drive, seemingly working for them, as they then jump off sides, a false start on the right guard. So I'll end up backing them up, make it a 2nd and 9 instead, with a single back tight look here. They will throw from it across the middle and knocked away, but they're gonna throw DPI on that? How many times are we gonna keep getting these bad calls? I think we average at least one of those a game. Couldn't ask anything more there from Stockton. He swatted the ball down, then put in the hit. It's exactly how you've got to play. As they get this one out to their guy, will be a short gain of 3. We'll say outside of a couple different plays, coverage really tight, getting the tackles right after the catch if we allow the catch. As Algier finds some space and does pick up the 1st down. They're starting to work the running game a little bit more, and it's opening up for them. Well, the 2-minute warning will hit, giving both sides a little bit of a breather before a pretty crucial part of this game here, as we're closing in to the end of the first half. And they have a chance to level this game up as it just opens up for them. They find Cruz, the 2nd-year receiver, and they make it a 10-10 game. And despite how good of a first half it was for our defense, our offense just didn't quite have it. And that puts us at a 10-10 spot with a 2-minute offense, a chance to try to retake a lead. As we do get the screen out, Brissy read it the whole way. It has not been a great start for Young either. He is 5 of 10, coming off a Player of the Week performance as well. So we do make a check. We're going to send Bateman deep. 1v1, don't quite have the step, but what we do have is Hayden Hurst with a big grab. That one thrown well. We'll get right back to it. No longer going to have press. They do move their top corner over to the right-hand side now. That might open things up a little bit more for us. Put it out there for Chenault on the run. Plus the hit, he brings it in. He's having himself a pretty good start to this game. Has our 1 touchdown with a very clutch grab. That one just about as clutch. Go with the draw after it. Hubbard breaks through 1. Not going to get much after, and let's not call our first time out there apparently. We're going to get right back out there. Keep them moving as we go back to Hubbard, pushing down at the 1. 1st and goal, we call a timeout with 15 seconds left. But now we'll get to see who gets the better push as Barry makes his return, one of our backup power backs, and he's stuffed in the backfield. We call our second timeout. Foskey there with the tackle. Not exactly what we were hoping for there, quite obviously. We have some mix of finesse and power, guys, but we got outpowered there. As we get this one out to Shenault, it's a second touchdown grab, putting us back in front at half. Gotta love the play we've seen from Shenault today. So after a little bit of a slow start for our offense, able to rebound, put together a really good drive there before half. Defense has been pretty good, giving up a little bit here and there, starting to give up a little bit more of the rushing towards the end of that half. But overall, it's a good performance, and in a big game, we have the lead. As for one of our rivals, they also have a lead. The Buccaneers, they're up 17-0 on the Vikings, looking for their first win on the season. For this next game, we got another divisional game, though not our division. It's the Giants as they take on the Eagles, and they're up 20-7. They got their first win last week, and off to a good start is their second-year quarterback with 3 first-half touchdowns. As for the last game, we got the Chiefs taking on the Texans, and at half, it is the Chiefs up 21-14. But as we get back to our game, it's our offense heading out, a prime opportunity to try to retake a 2-score lead. As Hubbard not able to get the outside, Beavers has been impressive. And for the most part, they've kept Chuba Hubbard in check today, which I think is why we've had such a slow start to this one. As we do get it out, and Hubbard breaks the tackle, he's got to sprint away, diving guy misses, Chuba Hubbard dives into the end zone. Lattimore nearly ruined it there at the end, but Chuba, a bounce back play, goes all the way. But of course, a booth review coming in. We're gonna have to check the spotting. Hopefully it doesn't actually ruin it. That one is close. It might be down an inch shy. No, that ball definitely crossed the plane. But they say no, it didn't. And I stand corrected. The wrist touched down a hairline short of the pylon. Good call there from the refs. So Lattimore does end up ruining that play, but Hubbard, he's back out there looking for his touchdown, and this one would be a lot easier for him. Just hop, skip, and in. We still take our 2-score lead. Plus, on top of that, gonna massively improve his chances for getting to that X factor. But the Saints head out for their first time here in the second half on offense. They really started to warm up in that second quarter. We need to see how well we can bounce back as it's just placed well. Sidney Brown a step behind again on the tight end. We'll give him at least the rest of this drive. See if he could improve. If not, we might make that same switch we did last week. As they go with a stretch to the outside, need to keep contained, and we do a pretty good job of it, just not as clean of tackling. As for some reason we have a booth review stuck to the top of the scoreboard. Gotta love that Madden's still a little bit broke, leaves 2nd and 4. With a spread look, they got 3 to the right-hand side, no one spread to the left. We send the blitz in, Hodgins will hit home. Our 3rd sack of the day makes it 3rd and 16. So while it seems to be that the defensive line of the Saints has improved, their offensive line has not. A great down here to try to just tee up some pass rush. As it opens up across the middle, it's Cruz. We give up the 3rd and long. Well, that time the coverage was on Stockton. Just got beat off the press, leaves 1st and 10 for him. At the 41 to the outside, it's a pretty decently placed ball as Nick Selder very shaken up. So it was already a pretty weak O-line for him. Gonna get a little bit weaker. So we're gonna send the extra blitzes here. A little bit more pressure, though. They actually dime that up pretty well, but it goes straight to Newsome, who's not gonna get back to the outside, but it's a great pick. Again, we just forced a little bit of pressure on their rookie quarterback. We'll be just fine. We've been able to get the sacks on him today. Finally get that turnover, which could be key as we're already up 14. Look to widen that as Hubbard, a little bit of a juke and spin, will pick up 2. While he only has 30 rushing yards today, most of his work has come through the air, and that's just throughout this entire series. As we look to get right back out to him, keep him in bounds. Yes, picking up an extra couple on that one, down to the 33. Already has over 100 yards more receiving than he does rushing. 135 to the 30. As we go back to him, it's going to be a loss of 4, so take that back to around 130. We'll say so far in this game, Bresee has done very well to single-handedly take away the halfback screen, so might need to move away from that a little bit. As Young steps up, we'll count it as a sack, but he got back to the line of scrimmage. But either way, it still leaves us with a 3rd and long. We're in field goal range, so just can't lose any more yards. As we've got 2 spread to the left-hand side, 2 tight ends to the right, a little bit of some play action. See if someone could get open, and there's the sack we could not give up. Drop us back at midfield, and we'll have to punt. Ends up being a extremely clutch play, though, for the Saints. Keeping it a 2-score game. For some reason, our offensive line, they just don't have it. Really goes to show, though, how big for us Clifton has been as it's knocked away by Newsome. Try to force that one into Olave, who, again, we've done a really good job of kind of taking out of this game. We're going to make a change, and they're going to make a change as they send 3 to the left-hand side, leading Olave lone to the right. Will be a throw from their rookie QB going deep downfield as we get lucky. They overthrow Wicks, which honestly, a little bit surprising considering, again, we talked about at the beginning, Schmidt's best accuracy is downfield. Leaves them with 3rd and 10, and they get a beautifully thrown ball. Unfortunately, Crew's not able to bring it in. Defense gets lucky on back-to-back plays and gets off the field. But honestly, how much longer can we rely on good luck? Need our offense to start taking this game over. As Hubbard bounces it to the outside, turns a draw into kind of a stretch almost. Picks up the 1st and out of bounds. We'll definitely say at this pace, Chuba Hubbard will hit that 200 as long as he still keeps bringing in those yardage. As we might look to him here, nearly picked. Need more from Hubbard there. It was a well-placed ball from Young. Obviously just a little bit too far to the outside, but placed away from the incoming defender. Couldn't really ask more there from Young. As it's 2nd and 10, we keep with the same look. They take away Chenault's route. Coming across the middle, that is where we had a pick last week. Still behind the man. We really just need some better connections here between our quarterback and receivers. Get on the same page, make the adjustments when they need to be. It's 3rd and 10. As we stick with the same look and go back to the draw. It worked out well for us last time as Hubbard bounces off another couple, though could not keep his feet. Nearly was gone. But we've given him a heavy workload this second half. We'll send him to the sideline for a little bit of a breather here. Bring out Barry. Looking for a little bit of some blocks. He gets stuck on a block. No gain. He showed a little bit of promise in one of the first couple games this year. Then, of course, had his injury. Has not really been able to get back out since, as Young panics, able to throw it away. And we're definitely seeing that left side of the line be an issue for us, where we do have Mitchell in there instead of Clifton due to the injury. Really shows, again, how good that rookie has been for us as pass rush right through once again. It's Foskey. Still in field goal range at least, but we'll let this one hit the 4th quarter. It definitely has not been as flashy of a game as it was last week or even the week prior to. But we're doing what we need to hold a lead as Ford can extend it here with that strong leg of his, puts it right down the middle. And with that, the Saints now sit down 3 possessions as we're into the 4th quarter, with most of the entire quarter still left. As they will find the deep end. We've struggled against that route. And it hasn't really depended on the man versus zone. They found it on every single type of coverage. They spread empty here. Going to the outside, it's Cash who drops the pick. Intended that one for Wicks. Leaves him with 2nd and 10 and still holding on to the football. Will be another throw to Moreau through the hands as Stockton breaks it up. Now, he's gotten caught on a couple different routes today, and it's not a great matchup here for us either. We will still have to stick with the man as they go to the outside. Newsome tips it away. Another one off the hands of our corners. Brings up a 4th and 10 at the 46. But with them down 3 possessions, they will stay out. They got 2 to the right, 1 to the left is Olave. Schmidt in the pocket. As they go across the middle. Hey, the refs let us play that time. A little bit of bump there, but the ball too high for either party. We get the turnover on downs. Plus, on top of that, we start in plus territory at the 46. Time to run some clock and get Chuba Hubbard to that 200 total he needs, as he'll pick up 6 more. And that leaves him 7 yards shy of 200 total on the day. And we're going to go right back to him. Need to get to that second level. Kind of. Right at the same time that Hubbard did, he picks up the first down with a gain of 4. Well, of course, we need him to still stay a little bit healthy, so we're going to send him off here with the first down. Barry back out here, see if we can make a play. Solid tackle with Beavers, and now Barry shaken up again. He just got back from injury this game and has to head off. A blow for our depth. Hubbard comes back in. It's 2nd and 9. As he goes to the right-hand side, it's a gain of 5, and that puts him over 200 total. And with that, as long as we don't lose any yards to him, he is now going to be an X factor moving forward. But it's 3rd down. We need a first down, and it's through the hands of Hayden Hurst. 4th and 4 at the 30. We could tack on another field goal here. So while it definitely has not been a splashy scoring effort, we've put up with this field goal 30 on our division rival. And with that, that does give us a 20-point lead as we're closing on to the end of this one. They will go with a quick throw. They're going to find Wicks. They've missed him on a few different throws today. Definitely hasn't been a very accurate game from Schmidt. He definitely at times has shown his weaknesses for sure. But all around, I feel like they have a guy they could try to build around for the future. He just might not be and probably won't be the same as Breeze. But honestly, how often do you even get to come across a guy like him? They do have a 2nd and 3 here as they flip it. Got 3 to the right-hand side. 2, or actually 1 to the left. I know how to count. They drive this one in. Back to Wicks. He holds on to it. A first down. All right, now it seems to be the quick passing game working the best for them as the voice goes out. They swing it out to Algier, who gets by the first guy. And apparently, I need to get some water in the booth as it's 2nd and 3. They're down to the 38. Again, they're moving well this drive, switching to the quick passing game to get it out to Moreau. Not any gain, but they stop the clock. And of course, with this quick passing game, haven't been able to really dime up any sort of blitz packages, but we do here. We get a hit in on the quarterback, but Moreau picks up the first and once again out of bounds. Seems like at this point, they're just looking for a little bit of some morale boost heading into next week, unless some craziness happens here late on. Across the middle, they find Moreau again. He's bringing in a lot of balls, but not really getting a lot of yards here late on. It's a gain of 2. As there's a little bit over 3 minutes left. Back to Moreau. Can someone just cover the tight end this drive? Like, I know we've had struggles against tight ends, but still, that's way too many catches as they find Cruz, his 2nd touchdown of the day. They're still fighting here late on, though they need an onside. Plus, on top of that, our defense definitely let up there, but this is big for the rest of this game. As we let it get through our first line, Mingo picks it up the first time he's touched the ball in a couple weeks. So the offense gets to come out and try to run out this clock. Saints do have all 3 of their timeouts. We just need a first down. As Barlow comes out, it's a short gain of 2. They don't call a timeout there. So we'll just let it run to the 2-minute warning. Again, we need a first down. And they still have all of their timeouts. So it might need a little bit more than just a first down as Barlow breaks off of Beaver's tackle, makes this one close. It's 3rd and 1. They use their first timeout. We come out with the I form. Need the first down here with Hubbard. Blocking does well enough. We'll tack on a couple more. Use a timeout. Not much hope remaining. And with this, we're going to actually look for a weak side toss to Hubbard. Make sure we get the outside good blocks. Hubbard will get close to another first down. Their final timeout called. And we just need 2 yards to seal the deal. It's a tight shotgun look. Barlow looks for the cutback, but instead he gets picked up, slammed down, 3rd and 3. And we need this first down. We spread wide, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. It's a read option dialed up, and Young will run us to victory. Sliding down at the 20, the time can melt away. And with that, we take the sole lead atop the NFC South with our playoff hopes in our hands this year. It was overall a really good game from the defense. They had a bad last drive there, but we nearly doubled the Saints' point total. Couldn't ask for more. Well, you could ask for more, but at that point, you're just getting greedy because we got the win and we got Chuba Hubbard to his X Factor Dev. Plus, on top of that, we get to go then hopefully use that to beat up on bottom of our division, the Buccaneers next time out, who are 1-5. They're coming off their first win, so they're going to be riding a little bit of a high. But again, so are we, as this game ends with actually both sides having nearly identical offensive yards. They had 304, we had 310. Again, we did pretty well against stopping the run, but the passing game, it definitely started to get going there. At certain times, it's just every now and then, defense gives up. But we do have to say the defensive line, the pass rush, showed up really well today. We made some big plays along the way. Bryce Young, he was Offensive Player of the Week after last game. Obviously, I didn't say anything about it because we've had the curse with him, where we've won the Offensive Player of the Week, and then the next game, he plays horrendously. So we didn't talk about it, and I think he broke that curse. The completion percentage wasn't very good, 55, but he threw for 238 yards, had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and in his QBR, 130.8. Not too bad. Obviously, Chuba Hubbard had fantastic and got the traditional running game going a little bit more in this one. 4.8 yards to carry for him. Had 1 rushing touchdown. Algier definitely popped off for some good runs. More so, I would say the blocking did well rather than him just making things happen. And they didn't use any of their other running backs, which was interesting. As for receiving, Chuba Hubbard, fantastic once again. Foster Moreau became a problem in that game. A large amount of receptions going his way. Tight ends continue to be a problem for us. So in this next game, we might just go ahead and start with Gardner Johnson at strong and put in Shepard at free just to see how much of a difference that ends up making. Cruz had a pretty good game as well. 2 touchdowns on 5 catches. Chenault, 2 touchdowns on 3 catches. And we're not seeing anything from Jonathan Mingo. I think he's got talent. We're not finding him open. I think there's so many other guys that we're focusing more on with this offense, so he's just kind of being left out. As for the defense, though, Stockton led both teams in tackles with 12. As for just our own stats, next up was Sidney Brown. So he gets involved a lot in tackles. We had a handful or so tackles for loss. 2 for Stockton, 2 for Grover Stewart, 1 for Hodgins, and 1 for Owe, who had to split the sack. I don't think it really was a true split sack, but both the middle linebackers, or I guess 2 of the 3 middle linebackers, got a sack, as well as Stewart and Owe. All in all, really fantastic. Newsome got a pick. Ford continued to play well. It was a great game out there. And for one last good news here before we round up, Barry's injury is not significant. He will be back, though very much is a concern with how often he is getting injured, with his limited carries even. So we'll see how we manage that going forward with Chuba Hubbard now as X Factor. Not going to leave the field all too often. But it's a good win. Puts us atop the NFC South for sure. We get to try to then continue to grow that against the Buccaneers next time. So do not miss out. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right if you have not already, or scroll down and hit the sub button. They both do the same thing. And definitely make sure while you're down there to hit the bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Plus we have the state-only challenge, which will have a new one out tomorrow. That series every Wednesday and Saturday. So make sure you tune in for that. As we approach the mid part of the season, 1 more week, then we have the bye in week 8. We might make a couple more like trade-aways, maybe get a couple more picks. Haven't really been able to take much of a look at the draft class yet, so maybe a little bit of an update on that next episode. So we'll see what the future holds, but right now, we're the ones holding our future as we have a 4-2 record, atop of our division. Playoffs are in sight.